Welcome to the studio today, Kristina. Really, really happy to have you here. Been very, very excited.
Oh, thank you. No, it's a gorgeous space, this.
So, world of property, people who know you, where did it all begin?
11 years ago, so I was 28. I'm 40 this year, so maybe we're coming up for 12 years, which is crazy because it's gone like that. It's gone quickly. So I came across property when I was a full-time singer. I'd already had a 10-year career in singing. I'd done not everything, but I'd say the majority of things I wanted to do. I was in the production shows on the cruise ships. I'd done UK tours. Then I was gigging on my own and then doing shows and pantos in between, sort of sorting it. And I had a really good reputation and I had endless work in terms of if I was to go out and gig on my own. But I just found that quite depressing, quite lonely, going out and singing on your own to drunk people most of the time. Especially if you've come from shows where you're in a team and you've got a full production team and it's exciting and it's not always fun, but generally it's quite fun and it's to go from that to singing on your own is quite, I wouldn't say soul destroying, but it's not.
Means to an end.
Yeah, and the reason why I did that is because when you're doing the shows, like I was away from home all the time. So home for me at the time was Blackpool, and so there's lots of work in Blackpool, but the majority of the work is for solo gigging. There were venues where I'd go and I'd sing at the weekend, I'd have dancers, but then midweek I'd go around the hotels and like you see such funny things. Like you're singing a lot of the time for really old people. Like some of them were like falling asleep and like asleep. I've sang out to people, I swear, that have done this. Imagine that. Imagine that. And I'd be like, I am professionally trained.
We're talking about speaking earlier. Can you imagine being on stage?
Yeah, and someone going,
Someone's going, la, la, la,
like you
la.
just
I can't
see.
hear you.
As a singer, you see mad stuff. So, like, I'd see at the weekend, I'd be on stage and there'd be like drunk people. I think it's going to kick off. It's going to kick off. It's kicking off. It's kicking off. And then that extreme to then people with the fingers in the ears or like this, and they're just there for bingo. And you're, like that's miserable, isn't it? Especially when you've trained professionally and you can sing and you can dance and you've been in shows and you've done tours and then you're doing that. You're like, there's got to be more. So I'd made the decision I wanted to settle and I wanted a base and I wanted a home, and that does not fit well with the lifestyle of being a performer and leaving at a drop of a hat and traveling and all that sort of stuff. And also I knew at some point I would want a family, and it just doesn't align. So I knew I needed another income, but I also never had a proper job, unemployable because I wouldn't turn up, just have days. I was like that at school. Just I don't want like great attendance there. I can't bother going anymore. Just won't go. You know, flaky. But
Entrepreneurial.
entrepreneurial.
Yeah.
I'm not flaky if I found something that I wanna do, then I'm devoted, but flaky if it's someone else's rules can be a bit, don't wanna do it. So, yeah, didn't know what I was gonna do, tried loads of things. I was living in London and I, like, had a Zumba company, but I was a bit too late to the party and all the good venues were gone. But I was doing that, not making much money, but I was, like, trying stuff and I started learning about marketing and advertising and, built my own website. I mean, it was rubbish, but, just spent a lot of time trying things and trying to get clients through the door. And then I started network marketing. That took loads of my time for quite little reward, but I was good at it. I was in the top 10% of the company and I was doing all right. I think I got to a point where it was quite passive, but it wasn't a good fit for me really. But again, learnt loads of skills, learnt loads of people skills and business skills and learning about leverage and assets and liabilities and all of that stuff. So it gave me like a real taste of what life would be like to be wealthy, which is that's not my background. Like I didn't know rich people. Don't come from money, come from making ends meet and turn all the lights off and don't have the heating on too high and all of that stuff. Like, I don't come from like an abundance mindset and being with people that go skiing every year and all of that stuff was just not in my world. So it opened me up to starting thinking, gosh, imagine like having assets and all of that. So I went to a free Rich Dad Poor Dad seminar, which I'd gone to network about my network marketing business, and it was all about property. They were basically saying you don't need your own money to buy property. People think it's for rich people, but it's not. Like you just need to learn skills. And I was so green. And also, and I'm glad I wouldn't change it. because I was really moldable and I'd done so much work on my mindset. I was really open and I was quite delusional into think that I could do it. Like lots of people were saying to me, well, that obviously doesn't sound legal or that doesn't sound right. What, you're just going to start with no money? That can't be true. And it's a scam. And oh, where are you going to find these deals? You know, all this negativity, but it didn't cross my mind. I just thought that sounds great.
Yeah, here's a
Well,
plan, I'm going to go for it.
yeah, sounds well exciting. And it was like the first time I'd found something. So I did singing and I loved it. Then the network marketing thing really excited me, but then I kind of fell out of love with it. And then property was the thing that really was the first thing that gave me sleepless nights for excitement. And then it gave me sleepless nights for anxiety.
For the wrong reasons,
For the
yeah.
wrong reasons. But it really got in my bones. It got in my bones. And I just thought this could be a solution for me.
Yeah, this is the thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was 12 years ago. I basically spent my life savings on property training, which was quite normal back then.
So what sort of investment were you looking at?
18 grand.
Yeah, it's a lot of money, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I did it on my own as well. So a couple's getting to go for 25 and they were like, we will do you a fantastic discount for one person of £18,000. And I was like, that sounds like a jolly good deal to me.
Yeah, please.
Sign me
Yeah.
up.
Here's my liver, here's my kidneys.
Why did they not charge me 12 and a half? I don't know.
That's a good
Do you know what I mean?
point. Yeah.
There's only one person taking a seat,
Yeah.
these things, but yeah. Anyway, there we go. 18 grand later.
Yeah.
Handed over thank you very much. Please take all of my money.
Body costs.
What could go wrong here? Yeah, and then the rest, as I say, is history.
So what was your first property deal? So you'd obviously done your training,
Mm.
got all fired up,
Fired up.
and then what was next?
So I did do what they told me to do. They definitely sold me a dream and they definitely did not tell me how hard it would be. But I just sort of realised as I was going, like, oh, okay, I just thought it was this, but yeah, obviously it wasn't. And I started doing, well, I did leaflet campaigns first of all because I was doing direct to vendor stuff. I mean, at that point as well, the market where I was investing was flat. There were all of these like massive houses that no one wanted for like 80 grand.
Wow.
And actually, I look back and I think, gosh, I would do anything for that market again now. But things have changed so much. So I got direct to vendor on a guy that was selling a 6-bed HMO and a block of 5 flats. And that was my first deal. They bought them both on the same day with a joint venture partner. And everyone said, don't do it because, you know, you should start small. And they are absolutely right. But I'd raised the finance and I'd found the deals. I'm not going to source them on for 6 grand when they will cash flow £1 a month each. Why would I do that? So sometimes you take advice, but ultimately you've got to work with the opportunities you find. And they were too good to say, oh, actually, I'm only going to start with buy-to-lets. So I just went for it.
So did that alter your strategy moving forward? Did you have a strategy from the outset?
No, not really. My strategy was find cheap houses.
Right.
You know, it was just quite
Looking for the bargains.
looking
things
for
that you
bargains.
could, yeah,
Looking for bargains.
cash out
look for-
deals.
That was my strategy. But because I'd found my joint venture partner, for it to be viable, it had to be bigger deals like the HMOs and blocks of flats for it to have enough cash flow for both of us. So that sort of dictated the strategy. And so from then on, we just went and we bought, I think, 5 maybe 6-bed HMOs back to back to back to back without really testing the market, which is stupid. But we were both excited. He had money, I had time and deals, and I was hungry. So you put that together and what you're going to get, people buying properties with just quickly, you know, that's what happened. And then I wanted to flip. He didn't really need the cash, but I did. So we did a flip as well. So that was my initial kind of strategy.
So doing a joint venture, any words of advice for people who would embark on that path?
Yeah, so my words of wisdom would be have the roles very simple and very set. So that was a great thing about our partnership, is that I knew that my role was to find deals and to work with the builders and to find something really run down, negotiate it cheap and make it lovely. That was my job. His job was to finance it, to deal with the mortgaging, all all of that stuff. That was his side. So I think it gets really muddy and unclear when people are, I'll put in 10 grand, well, I'll put in 15. And look, it's not clear at all. Like you need to have set roles, in my opinion, for it to be successful. We have really different qualities as well. So, he's really analytical and really great with numbers and all of that stuff. And I was really good at just getting out there and negotiating deals. So we were really good in that sense. But another thing to be mindful of, which I wasn't, is I didn't really read the contract very well. I didn't really understand the contract. I also didn't understand. He would baffle me with numbers. And that's not his fault, that's my fault. That I didn't understand. And instead of questioning, I don't really get what this is and I don't understand how I'm getting paid. I didn't understand. I would just end up with random amounts I didn't understand. And then eventually I got a coach and we sat down and went through them. And my coach was like, wow, do you realise what you've signed? This is not really in your favour and you're never going to earn much money from this and you need to look at an exit because the way that it's set up, it's going to be a long time before you earn money. And I didn't know.
Bet you were gutted.
Yeah, I was really gutted because I was like,
All the effort that's gone into that.
the effort. And also, you kind of pin all your hopes and dreams on, this is the cash flow and we want, because as well, when I found that out, we still had properties in refurb and I'm imagining in 3 months' time, we're going to be cash flowing 6 grand a month, and then realising, mate, you're going to make 200 quid. You're going to make nothing for 3 years. That realisation's really gutting because you work really hard to then realise. And also, I just felt like an idiot.
So you realised you weren't going to make the money on the joint venture. So what happened next?
So when I realised, just at that point, wanted out, also because I wasn't enjoying HMO, so it was a double whammy. Because I was just getting so many calls from the agent and it wasn't passive. It was a lot of hard work. And it first of all, depressed me. It wasn't inspiring on any level. It was really depressing, actually, how people were living, and I didn't enjoy it. And I found it quite stressful and sad. And there was a point where I didn't want to look at my phone. I was like, oh, the managing agent's ringing me again. What now? So I was having to micromanage the agent and she was annoying, all this stuff. And I thought, I'm not even really getting paid for this. So I just said, would you buy me out? And he said, yeah. And honestly, I would have walked away for free because it would have,
Right.
because the calls would have stopped and then it could be his problem. He gave me a small amount and I took that money and I thought, right, okay, now I want to build something for me where I have full control, no more JVs, and I'm going to have to learn to raise money for angel investors, and that's literally what I did. Started really small and I set a goal because I was quite shiny penny. I got a coach and he said, what do you need first of all? And I was like, to cover my bills, which at the time was about 2.5 grand. Gosh, I wish they were that now. Can you imagine? Oh, we're going back a long time.
Those were the days.
No kids, single living, 2.5 grand. And he was like, so 10 buy-to-lets. I remember it feeling like such a big
Yeah, it's like
thing.
the sharp intake of breath.
10 buy-to-lets, oh my goodness, But the good thing is, I was like a dog with a bone, and we'd have our meeting, I'd have a good cry generally, and then he'd say,
Emotional release. Just
yeah, I'm rubbish.
I can't do this. I can't do it.
I
I can't do it.
I've got no builders, everyone's taking the piss out of me. And then he would go and find a deal. And I'd go, okay. And literally go find a deal, bring him back. And then he realised I was quite reward driven and he was like, and I'm like a bit of a foodie, but bad food. And he was like, if you go and find a deal, I'll get you lunch next time. And I go, can we have fish and chips? And I'd make him go get fish and chips and bring them into our nice hotel. But that's the kind of, the way it would work. And he'd go, just focus on the next deal. And that's kind of what I did. And I just did that until I had 10 buy-to-lets. And then from there, I was like, oh, let's play a little bit more. And then it just kind of went on from there in lots of buy-to-lets and some mixed commercial blocks of flats, then all the SA stuff. So it ended up being the best thing I ever did was to walk away. And I walked away quite quickly. It was, probably from start to finish, I was in it for a couple of years. But when I realised, I was like, I'm done. And it was the best. And as soon as I walked away from that, I also walked away at the same time from or maybe just a bit before my network marketing business, just come out of the groups, muted it. And my property career just took off the moment I decided that I was worth more.
And knowing that you've got to start all over again.
Yeah, it's really demotivating.
So for someone coming into property now and having anxiety around raising money, what would you say to them?
There's no magic bullet for that. It kind of gets better with experience, but I do think that where it gets sticky is when people don't know what they're doing and they raise finance. That's dangerous. I think you have to know what you're doing, and there just should be some level of education, because if you don't, it's that thing of like, you don't know what you don't know. And even when you've had training, there's still booby traps. So imagine actually not knowing how to structure a deal and all the little tips and tricks of the trade that we know, that, even when you're going for a revaluation, you know that you should do this, 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 and you know that this is available, and all these little tips of how, you can really maximize a property, but also, things to know in advance to stop you buying something that's going to be a money pit, and stop you buying something that on paper might look like a great deal, but actually is a terrible deal. So the first thing about raising finances, you have to take a level of responsibility and know your stuff, like get good at finding deals and the knowledge behind it. And then I think raising money is just the best thing ever, because it just opens up all the doors, and it's people's biggest blocks. And sometimes when I'm coaching people, they're staying so small. I just keep saying to them, get rid of that. Get rid of the one pot mindset. I've got this one pot of cash. No, you haven't. You haven't got one pot of cash. You've got endless pots of cash. You just need to go and find it. And there's so much money. People have got more savings now than they've had in years. Years and years and years. So I think it's a mindset, and I think if you can get all the right tools in place, the world is your oyster with raising money.
So, Kristina, 2026 and beyond, what have we got in store this year?
So I've got some flips. I've got 4 flips. I've got one that currently hasn't sold, which is a pain in my backside, to be honest. But I've got 3 that have all sold, that are going through legals to complete. So fingers crossed they should all complete in the next quarter 1, quarter 2, and a couple of refinances which should both complete in quarter 1. So I'll have loads of money coming back in, which will all go straight back out again. I've got a property that I completed on just before Christmas, which is a title split. Only a little one, it's just 2. So I've got one house in Reno, which is going to be a 3-bed flip. It's got loads of character, really nice location. And then the property behind it is a rental. So unfortunately, the tenant's going to need to have a Section 21 served while we still can. It's got too much damp. We thought about refurbing round it, but we can't. She needs to leave, and then we'll do a refurb. Then that will get tenanted. So that's kind of the immediate stuff. And then I've got it in my goals for the first quarter to find 2 more flips, because I need to find them now so they complete before the end of the year, for them to fit into this year's goal. So 2 more flips, front loading, and I want to find a block of flats. The goal is an extra 2,500 a month from cash flow, which I'm only really going to get from buying portfolios, blocks of flats. I can add in a couple of grunters. Do you know what I mean? Like three or 4 buy-to-lets, 369, 1,200 quid a month there. So it's going to be bitty, I think. So probably 4 single lets, and then maybe a block of flats are going to give me my 2.5 extra cash flow a month, and then the 2 extra flips, and then back end I'll be looking at more flips to load up next year. So I just have to kind of do it by quarter, and then it's not so overwhelming.
So Empress Hall, that was obviously like the crown of your portfolio, surely. Just absolutely stunning and beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Can you tell people who are listening about the story behind Empress Hall, and maybe some of the challenges you had along the way?
So Empress Hall came out of lockdown in the time where it was 2021. So it was the second Christmas where everyone was really... Was it I'm trying to think, did we have 2 Christmas? Because they cancelled Christmas one year,
I
didn't
think
they?
it's 2020 and 2021.
Yeah, it went on, didn't it?
It did.
Purchased Empress in 2022, the beginning of 2022, secured her in 2021. And I just know that when I was going round her to view, it was that horrible time where everyone was allowed to work, but you just couldn't meet your friends. It was really lonely, and I had a babe, had a newborn. So Evan was born in the June. No one came to see him. No presents, no gifts. By the time lockdown was lifted, he was terrified of people. It was really challenging, especially I had a 2-year-old and a newborn, and I was just really lonely and really sad. I was, because you know what I'm like. I've kind of need people. I like my own space, but
get energy off people.
Yeah, get my energy off being with people. So I was really not in a good place, really. So I viewed Empress with the minds. I already owned Highcliffe, which was a block of 6 holiday flats, and I had a couple more as well in Fleetwood. So I was already doing that holiday lets in that space, but I realised there was a gap in the market for bigger properties that would sleep 10, 20 guests at a time. And that's why I viewed it, because it was this sort of strange listing in the middle of hotel hotels. It was just a really, really, I was quite intrigued with it really. I was, what's this detached house doing with land and a granny flat to the rear? It was just a really strange listening. So I went and viewed it. And it was just this massive 4-story, overwhelming property. But as soon as I walked in, I thought I would love to buy this. And I remember thinking, gosh, if I ever bought that, I'd feel so proud. And I'd like, if I bought that, I would feel this. And I have bought it, and I don't really feel like that.
Oh, isn't it funny?
I still just feel the same. You know, everyone thinks, God, you must feel loaded, and I just feel exactly the
Gap
same.
in the game, isn't it?
Just don't feel any different at all, which is fine because it's not like I'm unhappy or anything, but
Yeah.
it doesn't, which is good because I'd hate to be, you know.
But it doesn't ignite you in the way you thought it was going to.
Well, no, I just thought I would feel like, oh,
Yes, I've got this amazing
yeah, like mega
parent.
proud and really like I'm so successful and I'm done, and I just feel like my work isn't done at all. You know, just like, oh yeah, she's great, but anyway, back to the story. So I clocked there was a gap in the market. I thought when people come out of this, they're really going to want to get together, and it takes a while for that confidence to come back, for people to want to get together for
Yeah.
Granny's 70th and 40th and hen do's and stags and all of that, but I knew it would happen. So yeah, I bought her, we're using private investor finance, big old reno, probably the biggest reno I've ever done, 100 grand reno, which, doesn't sound a lot for some people, but I was used to doing maximum 60 grand renos and then 20 grand renos on buy-to-lets, little grunters. So this was a big stretch. And I remember I was just raising money all the time to do it because it was just constantly growing arms and legs. Yeah, so she's just been awarded from Visit England, like the 4-star, official 4-star
see.
from AA. Yeah, I wanted 5, but whatever. It's a bit of a scam, to be honest.
Yeah.
But then also I'm like, oh, I've created a 4-star out of nothing. It's like a brand new business. Fine, there's worth. 4-star's great. And also, if I got 5-star, people might expect more then,
Yeah,
and they might
it's
be
like only
disappointed.
Michelin star, isn't it?
Yeah, so actually 4-star's probably great because then they're like, oh, this is lovely. It's great.
And it's exceeded my expectations.
Exceeded. I think
Yeah.
that's it. So she's a big old beast that sleeps 20, and she's just the gift that keeps on giving. And I can't get it. Like when I'm filming her, you can't get the grandness.
Yeah.
It's impossible. I just can't get it in a video. You can't
It's
feel.
it's everything, isn't it? The entrance hall, the stairwell, the landing. It's just
There's just so much high ceilings, there's so much
the
space,
rooms.
and there's endless rooms. So we've got a games room, a cinema room, an Xbox room, a normal living room, 2 snugs just for fun. Just why not? Then the landing on its own, the landing's massive. People just sit there and read a book, and then 10 bespoke bedrooms, and then like a Love Island style garden, private car park to the back. So she's really unique.
The decor's beautiful as well.
Gorgeous,
It's so
matte,
quirky. It is so you.
really fun, really quirky, really like upbeat and energetic and vibrant. So yeah, in all of that respects, love it. It's so great. But come the challenges were huge in that there's a few problems in Blackpool because of this. They've got a protected holiday zone, which means and Empress just falls into it, which means that they really should give planning. I mean, they're quite difficult to deal with, Blackpool Council. They won't give planning permission for any residential use if you're trying to get change of use into permanent flats or to turn it into just a normal house. They wouldn't give planning for that because it's in the holiday zone. So they only want to give planning for holiday use accommodation. So we got full planning for it to be a holiday house that sleeps 20. That's our official planning. So I thought that's great. It's definitely commercial val. However, when we come to get our commercial val, the surveyor put that it falls in the designated holiday zone, and all the lenders saw that as a restriction. So they saw it as almost like a restriction on the title, which it isn't. It's planning. It's planning guidance. And Blackpool Council were really unhelpful when I said, I can't get a mortgage on this thing because no one will lend because there's no second exit. And in a way, there isn't a second exit anyway. It's a commercial entity. It's massive. It's like almost like a hotel. So it should be treated like that. So in a way, I was like, this is madness. This isn't a family home. No one's going to buy a 10-bed detached 4-story house in Blackpool in FY1. Madness. But it caused me a lot of problems, and I went a year of not knowing how I'm going to mortgage this thing out. And I've got all of that cash tied up at 10%, so I'm paying 50 odd grand a year in angel finance. Yeah. And I know some people have bigger problems, but that was a big
Everything's relative.
Yeah. And I'm trying to think that when Grayson started school, we decided to send Grayson to a private school, so we had school fees. And of course, that's my own decision. So it's not like, oh, poor me. But I remember it feeling really like, oh, this has to perform. This has to perform. And I remember there was a Christmas 2022 when my broker, Matt Naylor, said to me, and I love Matt because he delivers terrible news in such a calm way. And I appreciate that. Like, that's what I'm paying for. I can't stand people that lose their heads.
Kristina, hi.
Yeah, just sort of like, at the moment, Chris is the only person that calls me Chris. At the moment, Chris, we haven't got a lender at the moment. No lender, not at the moment, but we're working on some things. But as it stands, we haven't actually got a lender. Thank you. Merry Christmas. I remember being like, yeah, we need a lender. Like, I need to exit this. I remember being really panicky. I remember I literally put Empress in a Pattinson's auction, which is probably the worst auction I could have put it in anyway. But also, we would never sell at auction. Oh, it's not an auction property. It was refurbed. It's not an auction. But I was panicking. I was really panicking. Always a solution. And I would have worked it out. Even if I'd had to sell to an overseas investor, it's a good product. And that's the thing that I was hanging on to, is it is a good product and people were loving it. And thank God we were making the turnover. So we were getting the bookings, but it's a new business. So it's one of those things, the longer you're open, the easier it becomes because you get repeat bookings and the word's getting out. But we went from a standstill, to try and get the word out about Empress. So yeah, it was a really stressful 18 months, but we did get a mortgage. And actually what's really interesting is we had a valuation done. So the original valuation, I think they valued it at 620 something, but that got pulled because the valuer said it was in the protected holiday zone. Eventually got a different lender, and they lent because they basically took a view on the property because they liked it. So they went against their own policy and just said, we love this, like we think this is great, we want to back it. And that's how I got the lending. They backed it. So I'm really grateful, actually.
That's through somebody thinking with the heart
Yeah,
ahead and
yeah,
actually looking at it as a business and
that's
seeing
because
its opportunity.
Matt as
And
well was furious about the whole thing, and he was knocking the door down, and he said to the general manager or the director, he said, you need to see this, you're going to love it. And he had a meeting and said, can I show you this? This is the girl behind it. This is the website. This is their bookings to date. And they said, actually, we like it. So we got a lender. Hooray. Paid out another $4,000 or whatever madness it was for the second valuation. So that valuation,
ouch.
right? So you've got all
Yeah,
these things,
4K.
these additional costs
Wow.
that you're not prepared
Why
for
have to pay for valuation?
because the first one had expired.
Right.
Because it had gone on that long. Because from that point, we went months and months and months with no lender, finally get a lender, and now have to get a brand new valuation. So I remember it was quite a young guy, and he was running and skipping around the place, loving it. Literally, I can imagine being here with my mates, giving it all the spiel, said he loved it, fantastic. I was thinking, this is a done deal.
Yeah.
He loves it. Great. I remember having a joke with him. He was saying, gosh, it's going to be difficult with comps. And I went, well, it's a 10-bed detached house. So you'll find them, go to Polton, which is really nice. Loads of them there.
Yeah.
Pick a really nice 6-bed. And we were laughing. And I was going, just go up. And he was like, and then all that. And I thought, this is nailed on. Because I think it was like a hype. Because it's actually, she's on a buy-to-let product, which is mad. To create, there was no product for Empress Hall to go on. So they put us on a buy-to-let product it's a bit of it's not a commercial, but I don't even know how the valuation has ended up working, but it's a bit of a hybrid of bricks and mortar and commercial, bit of both. Anyway, the valuation come in at 450. I bought it for 400. And he said, which is just insane because I had all of my invoices, all of receipts. He said, I cannot value this for more than 450,000 because the client has not spent more than that on it. And I was like, really? Well, let me show you my bank account because that really, differs. Let me show you the evidence. And we appealed it and he was so rude. So, you think you've got a solution, then he downvalues. And I can't, for the life of me, think why he would do that. I don't know why he would do it. Why would he do that?
Even like a family home, 3-bed family home, you get like in a town, be like
Well,
450.
that's the madness of it. Like,
and this is like
a 10-bed detached house.
which is like beautifully decorated.
Beautifully decorated, so clear.
Which you've got
How
guests staying in.
Yeah. So again, I was furious and just thought, this is never going to end. This is just, and I dug my heels in because Matt was like, you could take it. I said, I can't take it. I'm not taking it. It's an insult. I'm not taking it. Absolutely not. And we fought it. Appeals rarely, very rarely get overturned. He was so rude, the valuer. He wouldn't even acknowledge it really. He just said, stop emailing me. It was just so bad. It was so, so bad. And then we basically talked the lender into letting us get another valuation done,
God.
which was another 3 or 4 grand.
Wow.
But I'm sure we had to wait for that to expire. It just went on and on and on and on and on. And then eventually we got one done and it valued up, 620 again, not the 700 it should be. But it is what it is. I was so happy to get the mortgage and get the funds and pay my angels and just enjoy it as a business. And I know that of all of the properties, they all go up in value, but that's the one that I know that 5 years, 10 years, that's going to be worth 1 million plus.
Yeah.
How can it not be?
Yeah.
I bought, unfortunately, the sort of topper end of the market, and then we've gone down, and then it's obviously adjusted for inflation, but we have been on a downer, especially top end of the market's been battered. So we're in the bottom end of the market right now. So in 5, 10 years, when things fly up again, Empress is going to be cracking property to own. Well, she's a cracking property to own now, but it's not come without a lot of stress.
So what piece of advice would you give to somebody starting out in property now?
So I would say for people starting out, learn the trade, treat it like a lawyer would study law. Because it is harder now. There's more regulation. There's more to pay. Materials cost so much more. Stamp duty. We never used to have it. It's 5% now. It eats into your figures. So it can't be a hobby now. You have to be good at it. You have to understand the climate that you're working in. But it's still very profitable for people that understand these things and they understand the reality of materials. A lot of strategies don't work anymore because the cost of the labour and materials, the figures don't stack, and you have to know this stuff going into it, because if you're delusional and think you can renovate something that's for 30 grand when in reality it's 75 grand, and that's what's happening to people because they've never priced a refurb before. They don't know what things are meant to cost. And you've got some builders charging double what others are charging. And again, if you don't know that, you're going to pay that because you don't realise that you could get someone else to do it half the price, but you're looking
You're
for
asking
different things.
something contentious now. Do you think that's partly because you're a woman as well, that builders will take advantage, or not
Yeah.
just builders, but just
Yeah.
contractors, services?
I think everyone has it, but I definitely think there's an element of especially when I started, because I was so green. I was so smiley and so trusting and just took everyone's word for it and wanted to be their friend. And yeah, I've had a couple of fallouts with builders, and the first one I think was someone that I'd gone to school with, and they got really cocky in that it was when I had my JV partner, and they were like, "Well, he's got endless money, he's a millionaire, he's got," and they got really just jealous, "Well, you can afford it," that sort of attitude. And I was like, no, 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 I can't, I really can't. I can't afford it, actually. And you having that attitude means that our deal doesn't stack anymore. So there was that element to deal with of people not liking the change or thinking that you're doing better than you are to begin with and trying to pull you down. And builders, builders look at a project and they think that you're going to make 50 grand, but they don't realize you've got bridging costs and you've got holding costs and you've got buying and selling and all these other things, stamp duty, and they go, you'll make 50 grand. And you go, where have you got that from? It's not your job to work out how much I'm making, because actually I'm going to make 25 grand. So you go, well, it doesn't matter if it's gone over by 10 grand. Yeah, it does matter.
Massively.
Massively.
Yeah.
And that's the problem, that you'll get some builders that start wanting to take your profits because they're thinking that you're making money that you're not.
I think that's probably quite commonplace.
Yeah,
actually.
so I think there has to be that level of, and I'm really lucky that I've got 2 amazing sets of builders, and I've got my main contractor, Phil, only works for me. We've got so much mutual respect and trust. I trust him implicitly, but it's taken me a long time to have that trust with a builder. And with a friendship, we care about each other. We'll go, "Are you, how, if I've been ill, are you all right?" And likewise, we care about each other. But few and far between, unfortunately. And then, yeah, the whole thing of being a woman, it's really interesting. I started doing a few deals in Liverpool. It's not my area to invest, and it's really interesting that like all the agents assume it's my first ever purchase.
Yes.
Why is
Why?
that?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're
Is
new
it
to it. Is it
it's your
because I'm
youthful
young?
looks?
Is it? Is it because I'm young and I
Or
sort
is it 'cause you're a woman?
and I
Yeah.
literally like I wouldn't say this, but I think I'm 50 deals in here. But I've obviously got that persona, and maybe it is because 'cause I'm a youngish female that they go, "Oh, she's new," you know? But I don't mind being underestimated because I think it's quite fun. I'm like, "Yeah, it's my first one, yeah. Help me
Yeah.
out, can you do half price fees?" But the builder thing, yeah, it's, they definitely saw me coming and took advantage.
So what advice would you give to women in the industry, or again, a woman wanting to embark in property, how to navigate your way around these potential issues and obstacles?
Well, I think the biggest thing for being a female in property is if you can get that balance of being likable, but having boundaries and talking to builders in a really direct way. That's the one thing that's helped me so much is that I give like everyone direction almost now. I realise that, I can be fun and I can be friendly, but I can straight up, if I had to find new builders now, I'd take them around a project and I'd say, "I'm an investor, I've run my figures on this, it needs to be around 30 grand. You go away and tell me if you can do it. This is what I think needs doing. I've done loads of flips or I've done loads of projects. This is where it usually sits for me. So it might not work for you because all different builders have got different overheads. This is where it would need to be. Can you do it?" And it just cuts out all the time wasting of if they've got loads of staff, they can't afford to do it for 30 grand. But if they're a one man band, maybe they can. It's whether they want to do it. Then they think, okay, so there's no messing. She knows her stuff. She knows what she wants, but she's going to be easy enough to work with because she seems fair. She seems like a nice person. It's kind of just getting those elements of
Yeah. 'Cause you don't want to come across as arrogant, because
no,
then there's nothing worse than that.
because
It's
there
the
is
it's
also it's like some builders are lovely.
stripping back your own personality then
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sure.
yeah. And the same with with everyone. I just think like if you've got a personality, bring it to the table because so many people are boring. And you shouldn't say that. You shouldn't say it was true, isn't it?
Oh.
I'll always pick someone that's got a bit of something. You can have a laugh with it.
Bit of
It
spark.
makes life fun, doesn't it? If you can get on with someone, you can have a laugh and you
Well, yeah,
know.
you don't wanna be, like, thinking, "Oh my god, it's Christina,"
Yeah,
ringing,
yeah.
put your phone down.
Yeah, yeah, and also I think as well if you can let a builder know that there's more projects coming, it makes their life easier if they can think, "Oh, well, we can keep working with the same person," and they don't have to keep looking for more work.
And again, they build up the relationship that
Yeah.
is long term,
Mm,
hopefully,
hopefully.
hopefully.
Mm.
So, Christina, you've had a number 1 best-selling book on Amazon.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun,
Dun,
dun,
dun, dun.
That was so exciting the day that got released. I was probably one of the first people who,
Oh,
went onto Amazon, download,
oh, thank
and, like, literally read it in about 6 hours.
oh, thank you.
And then, like, racing to, like, put my review on and everything.
Oh, I thank
No,
you.
it's a
That's
re
so kind.
it was a really good read,
Thank you.
and
That's what I wanted.
especially for someone who's not involved in investing in
Yes,
property,
yes,
it was just a joy to read because it's, like, in layman's language that you
yes.
can understand.
So the whole point behind the book is I just wanted something really factful, like something that would give people really helpful tools, but in layman's terms without it being about ego or, I know more than you. It comes from a place of like, listen, guys, I'm from Blackpool. I'm a singer. If I can do it, you can do it. This is how we do it. And so
This is how we do it.
just stripping away, a lot of the fear and just making it again snappy, being able to read it and also being holistic. So the first half of the book as well, there's a lot of stuff about mindset and about health and wellness and stress because property is a stressful business. It is anyone that says it isn't hasn't done enough deals yet. To be successful in property, you need to know how to regulate your nervous system. You need to know how to deal with stress and also how to have a balanced life because you see all different spectrums of, some people have got incredible portfolios, but no family, not many friends, no hobbies. no joy.
No
If
hair left.
no hair. What's the point? What is the point? So I've always wanted to have like this balanced life, and it's never totally balanced, but a full life of I've got 2 kids, I'm married, we have lots of holidays and lots of fun and still go to shows and all of that stuff, but have a really good business as well. And that's in all of that I've put in the book of like, let's get this full life going. And we can do it with no money, and we just need to learn how to raise money.
So, interestingly,
Mm.
you may also have a course
Uh,
that may help people.
Yeah, so it's called the Good Life Property Course. So that is kind of the book on steroids, really. It's hours of content, but because I've got ADHD, I can only digest things in smaller modules, and everyone's attention span is so much less now because everyone's on their phones, and it's just a little,
Like gnats, aren't we?
yeah,
Attention span of a
yeah.
gnat.
So I've been really mindful of that, and they're all in lessons in modules, and they're generally 10 to 20 minutes long.
Oh, it's just
Back,
perfect.
yeah, yep. So really digestible and easy for people to get. I've not waffled. I've made it again really easy for people to understand. Normal people. This
So is
is
this
what
just
you
for
do it.
someone who's a beginner who wants to get into
Beginner.
property?
Yeah.
So
So
total
how
effort.
to raise money, how to find deals, the whole shebang. Like how to find like BRRR, all of that jargon. How to find deals from start to finish in all your different strategies. And then I've got a mini course which I'm launching this month, which is where in December, was it November, I did a 4-week sprint, find a property deal before Christmas, and I recorded it and I've repurposed it out into a mini course. It's only 4 modules, and it's literally how to find a deal. And I've made it really cheap. I'm doing an early bird at 199, and then I'm going to price it at 349. Lifetime access, all these little things are so affordable now. Like that just wasn't available for
Just
me.
stick it on a credit card,
Yeah,
isn't it?
yeah, like
Mm.
just easy, accessible stuff. And if you follow what I say, you're more than likely going to find a deal. Do you know what I mean? It's just knowing where people want to do property, but they don't know where to start. So they're just sort of in an analysis paralysis, and they're just holding themselves back
I like that
because
analysis
yeah, because
paralysis.
you don't know where to start first.
Yeah.
So if you've got a plan and you're like, start here, do these things, find your area, set your strategy, start viewing houses. It's all step by step stuff.
So I'm an all-in sort of person.
Yeah.
So if I wanted to work with you one-to-one, is that a possibility?
Yeah, yeah, and
Do
I
you
think
offer
that's
one-to-one coaching?
one-to-one is yeah, and that's where people see that huge, you know
Because the course is great, but then sometimes you want to have your hand held, don't you?
yeah, and
And ask the
also
questions
yeah.
directly and
One of my coaching clients, bless her, she's just so gorgeous, and she's a goer, but she's pregnant, so she's already got, I think Xander's about 2, and then she's pregnant, about to give birth in February, and she's got a first deal, which we went through together. It's a flip, cracking numbers, and she's had endless sleepless nights, which is partly because of hormones, but then it's a first deal. And so we've been backwards and forwards with voice notes, and I can really understand where she's coming from, because in my pregnancies, I was a bit delulu with, and all weird things that are happening where she says she hates going there. And I said, when I was pregnant with, I think it was with Grayson, I remember going to my refurbs, and we were doing, it was like one of our first serviced accommodation, and we'd gone for navy blue. And I remember going, that colour is knocking me sick. It sounds mad, but the colour would make me feel sick.
that is
Yeah,
funny.
yeah, and it was
Really?
yeah, literally, like the heaviness of it, going in, looking around houses and having to run out because I was gagging at the smells, all these things that you never, you don't expect to happen, but she's experiencing it, and I'm going, no, it's normal, it's normal, it's normal, and you'll feel better in the summer, and you'll once she's, and saying, once you've got your baby, you strap him on, you'll be able to view houses, and really holding a hand when she's freaking out, and and she's going this, and I'm like, that's fine. You just need someone to just look at the roof and don't worry. And that real, quick thing. That's sometimes what people really need to actually get that first deal done and to really build something that scares them.
So where can people find you on socials? Where can we hook up with you?
Yes, so on Instagram at @thegoodlife_property investor. That's really where I hang out, which is I need to move on to LinkedIn where the grown ups are. But
I know it's a bit archy-starchy still, isn't it, in 3-page essays? Yeah, but I'm like pictures and 2
me
sentences.
too, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a creative. I like
Yeah.
Insta and Facebook. My website is kristinacastellina.co.uk. All of my offerings are on there. So my courses, the mentorship, the books on there. It's all on Amazon. It's called Starting from Zero: How to Invest in Property Using Other People's Money. So again, that's 10.99.
Yeah.
Start there.
No brainer.
Start there. If you like it, move on to the other
Better
stuff.
week.
Yeah.
In that.
You'll read it in a few days. Like the amount of people that say I couldn't put it down,
Yeah,
which
whet
I
your
think,
appetite.
I literally think for a property book, it's not bad going, that is it. If someone can read it, they can't put it down. I think, well, there we go. That's what I wanted, really. So yeah, that's where you'll find me.
Brilliant. And what would be your dream project? So if something could like land on your lap now and you go, oh, this is the one I have to do this. What would it be?
Oh,
And where would it be? It doesn't have to
oh,
be in the UK necessarily.
probably.
Not tickle your pickle.
Probably something in the lakes, like a really nice bespoke holiday let on the edge of a lake. So, to be specific, on the edge of a lake, overlooking the mountains, maybe a private lake would be great, where I could put all of the fun from Empress in terms of, snooker tables, games room, Xbox, all of that, cinema room. I forgot to say cinema room at Empress. We've got cinema room as well.
Cinema room at Empress.
Cinema room at Empress. Cinema room.
Book now on.
Look now, empresshall.co.uk. Yeah, but with more of a real stylish, not mad, crazy, a totally different theme, real elegance, navies, greens, all of that, like rich colours.
We're allowed to have navies now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that doesn't make me feel sick anymore.
Yeah.
That would really tickle my fancy. Or I'm really keen on blocks of flats at the moment, so maybe some really like lovely flats with high ceilings and good views, maybe something in Lytham. I mean, it's probably not my dream, but that's kind of what
Yeah.
I'd be happy with that.
Like a thing that would challenge you
Yeah,
creatively. And
yeah, that you can
then that
really play with, that
satisfaction
you can
and
really add lots of character and elegance.
yeah,
Yeah,
amazing.
thank you.
So one last question, might be a difficult one. If you weren't in property, what would you be doing now?
I probably would have ended up in business somehow. I have this like thing where I went to my solicitor's offices in Liverpool on Wednesday and the building was stunning and it was so grown up, and they have a gym with Les Mills classes, and it was so like corporate in like gorgeous coffee machines. There's like coffee shops nearby. It was just so, it like reminded me of Suits, that program, like proper grown up.
Yeah.
And I thought, I wonder how I would have got on in the corporate world. I wonder how I would have done. But I am unemployable. So, I do have these moments of thinking, I wonder how I would have got on there. And if I'd have got done really well and maybe learned all the stuff and
No,
started my
I
own
think you'd have
business.
been boxed in. Nobody puts Castellina in the corner.
Yeah.
You
It's
just,
because you can always go, coulda, woulda, shoulda, don't know, don't know, don't know. But
you wouldn't have been allowed to be unleashed.
I know, and to be honest, when I was younger, all I wanted was to sing and dance, so there was no space to do anything like that. So if I wasn't doing property, I imagine I'd probably have my own company, maybe, where I have my own shows and I become creative director, maybe.
Not an agent, but yeah.
Yeah, something. I probably would have stayed in entertainment, but created a business out of it, or maybe a presenter, or But that the problem remains the same in that unless you own the business, you're still traveling a lot. So not a runner. I know that much. Not a runner. I can cross that off the list.
I think that rounds everything up.
Yes.
Thank you so much for sharing your experiences and spending time with me today. It's been brilliant.
Thank you. I've enjoyed it.